I am proud, thrilled, delighted to introduce to you the most amazing mod ever to have been created for Fallout 4. Introducing Transfer Settlements by CDante. This epic, stellar, mind-blowing mod allows you to scan your settlements, download them to your computer as blueprints, upload those blueprints to the internet or share them with your friends on flash drives, and then load those blueprints into any other game save, recreating the settlement exactly as it was in a brand new game. I am so excited! I've been waiting for this since I started playing Fallout 4 over a year and a half ago. CDante is an incredibly talented modder who not only made this mod perfectly functional, but he put so many interesting touches and flourishes into it that make it fun to use. He published this mod less than a week ago, so it's early days yet. There are still a few kinks he's working out, but he is hard at work ironing out all of the kinks. He's already fixed a whole bunch of issues and he's working on fixing all the others. So, let me show you how this works. Here we are in Oberland Station. You remember my video on Oberland Station, which you can watch here. This is one of the first settlements that I revisited to recreate in a lived-in way. Since it's by the train tracks, I figured I'd make ample use of the train cars that came with Contraptions Workshop. A lot went into this settlement, but it is a smaller settlement. It has DLC items, vanilla items, and a whole bunch of items from mods. There are a whole bunch of dogs here. There's a lot going on. To scan and download the settlement, open up your Pip-Boy, go to the Miscellaneous tab and scroll all the way to the bottom until you find Transfer Settlements. Load it on up. Now, at the very bottom of the menu, you can find a General Settings button. You can explore through this to choose the settings that you wish. Then, go to the Export Settlement section. It's going to have you choose a slot on your machine. The mod supports only up to 10 slots right now, but once you export settlements, you can always share them, copy the files, move them elsewhere on your computer to open up a new slot. Now, the mod gives you a bunch of items. Export original items will cause the mod to export the items that came with the settlement, like fences, small shacks, things like that. Export DLC and mod added items does exactly that. It includes in the blueprint any items that come from DLCs like Vault-Tec Workshop or Contraptions Workshop or Wasteland Workshop, and anything that you've added from mods. Export farm animals will export any friendly barnyard animals like Brahmin, cats, and dogs. And then export tamed creatures will export things like death claws and mutant hounds and stuff like that. Now, when creating your blueprint, I recommend that you check all of these, because when importing a blueprint, you can also check which ones you want, which means that basically, if your blueprint has all of these items included, then the person who's using your blueprint can then pick and choose which ones they want to install. Then, just click Export Blueprint. If you are not standing in the correct settlement at the time, the game will teleport you to that settlement. Otherwise, the screen goes black, and then when it comes back, you see that everything is highlighted in blue. A progress meter appears in the left side of your screen, and we just wait while the game scans everything in the settlement. This can take a pretty long time, depending on the size of your settlement. My Oberland Station is not that large compared to many of my other settlements, so this didn't take very long at all. But it shows you exactly how many items are in this settlement. You can see on the left-hand side that I have upwards of 600 different items that this game is currently scanning. Once it finishes scanning, it will discard or reject items based on certain criteria. For example, the mod does not import settlers, so after it scans everything, it highlights all settlers in red. The game is discarding those settlers from the blueprint. If you chose to skip anything like junkyard dogs or Brahmin, it would then highlight those in yellow, telling you that it did scan them correctly, but they are not going into the blueprint because of the settings you chose. Then, as the game scans each item one by one, it'll highlight the item that it's just finished scanning in green. That's telling you that the item has been successfully added to the blueprint. Eventually, after a little bit of time, every single item in the settlement will go green, and then you'll get a message telling you that the export was successful. The very next message gives you a list of all of the different mods that this blueprint depends upon. This is important to save because if you don't take a screenshot of this menu, then the only way to find out which mods your blueprint depends on is by opening up the blueprint file on your computer and scanning it, trying to find the mods individually. When you share your blueprint with people on the internet or with friends, you're going to have to tell them which mods they need to install to get your blueprint to work. So make sure that you keep this list and then write it down on your mod description page or just tell your friends. So part 1 is done. We have successfully exported this settlement as a blueprint. Let's go ahead and import it into a new character. Here I am on a character that I don't play very often in my videos. And as you can see, her Oberland station is completely blank. It's untouched. It's exactly the way you find it in the game. Notice that there is a rusting fence around the farm as you find in Oberland Station. I had removed this fence on my other character. To import the settlement, open up your Pip-Boy, go to the Miscellaneous tab, scroll to the bottom until you find the Transfer Settlements holotape, open it up, and then go to Import Blueprint. Select the appropriate slot where you installed the blueprint, in this case it's slot 5, and then it'll tell you if this is the correct blueprint. Then you have a couple of choices. You can choose which items in the blueprint you want to install. I'm going to deselect the original items because this settlement already has the original items, and there were no tamed creatures, so I'm just going to keep DLC and mod added items and the farm animals. Now, this is a fun feature. You have the option to delete anything that you've already built in this settlement in a very dramatic way. To do so, click the Nuke Settlement option, and you do get a warning. What this does is it causes everything that's currently in the settlement to explode. When you're happy with your settings, click Import Settlement. As you can see, it's a lot of fun watching these things explode. But bear in mind that if you have a large settlement with thousands of items in it, the game causes a mini nuke explosion for absolutely everything. For example, if there's a fork on the ground, it explodes in a fiery inferno. This can cause a great delay when it comes to importing your settlement if you nuke too many items. So it's just up to you. Once the settlement is nuked, we get to watch a beautiful animation of everything in the blueprint rising from the earth and settling in to its appropriate place.
Perfect.
Isn't that cool? What a nice little touch. When done, you get a little message telling you whether or not it was successful, and you can then walk around your new settlement. Now, the sliding animation, where all of the items slide into place, comes with the little explosions of dirt, which look really cool, but these dirt explosions leave behind char decals all over the place. Now, that's not that big of a deal. These go away on their own. Just leave your settlement for a time, come back, and they'll be gone. But if it bothers you and you don't like seeing these char decals all over the place, when importing your settlement, choose to turn off animations. If you choose this option, then your settlement will slowly fade in instead of sliding up from under the ground.
Bingo.
Everything else works pretty much exactly the same way. There are just no charred explosive decals on the ground since the animation never played. Once done, go around the settlement correcting any mistakes. It's an amazing mod, but it does forget a few things here and there. Inside some of the boxcars, there are some tables and cabinets missing, but most of the decorations are still there. Up in the shower area, the curtains from my mod are there. All of the clothing decorations in my shop are still there. All of the food that I laid out on the tables, it's all there. And then you need to wire up the settlement. The mod sadly does not support electric wires, something to do with the way that they're made. If you provide power to your settlement using conduits only, then it'll work. You won't have to reconnect everything. However, the way these wires work in the game, he can't capture them in a blueprint. So just go around the settlement that you have imported using a blueprint and reconnect all of the wires. And there you go, ladies and gentlemen, you've got a brand new settlement on your character that you have imported from an amazing blueprint. Now that this wonder of technology exists, I will be going through each and every one of my settlements and exporting them as blueprints and publishing them to Nexus mods. This is going to take time because, as you can see, it's a little bit of a process to get a settlement out of my game and into yours. So do be patient with me while I go through each of my settlements and export them while also producing a new video every single day. I have already exported Oberland Station as a blueprint and published it to Nexus mods, so if you'd like this settlement in your game, click on the link that I include in the description below. That link will take you to my mod where you can download the Oberland Station blueprint. I will be publishing all of my other settlements as blueprints on the exact same mod page later, so bookmark it if you want one of my other settlements at another time. Never fear, I will let you all know when I have exported all of my settlements so that you can browse through and find the one you want. So be sure to subscribe so that you get a notification when I finish exporting all of my settlements. 3 cheers to CDante, hero of the Fallout 4 modding community, for creating something that the community has been asking for since the very beginning. It works, it's beautiful, it's awe-inspiring. It's lovely. Thank you very much, CDante. And for those of you who would like to use transfer settlements to export your own settlements, I include a link to the mod in the description of this video. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below. I read all of your comments and I use them as inspiration for my future videos. And if you'd like to talk about transfer settlements with the Oxhorn community on Discord, check out the invitation link to my Discord server in the description below. And if you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. Patreon subscribers gain access to a private channel on my Discord server, as well as a bunch of other cool Oxhorn perks. But more than anything, I'm just so glad that you're all here watching this video with me today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, with a brand new video.